Oh my god, we're all in the correct positions.
Oh, yeah.
You did so good.
Oh my god. We're just 40 minutes late. It's no big deal. Oh my god, I've got my volume on. The worst person ever. Oh. Anyway, good evening.
Hi.
Welcome to Hangers and Divinity, episode 6. Hey, thank you to, I know there's been quite a few people lurking in chat. Hey, thank you for that. Basically, long story short, my computer decided to shit itself, and I had to uninstall every program physically possible to get this stream working. But here we are, 40 minutes later, living our best lives.
Hey, I'll throw into that as well.
Ben's computer
My computer killed itself, so I am now on a tablet.
iPad. Anyway, cheers, everybody.
Yeah, salute.
Cheers.
We made it.
We need it.
Is this our first session of 2024?
It is.
Indeed, yes.
Welcome to the first session of 2024, when we played approximately 3 months ago.
Apparently Ben cannot be heard on the stream. Oh wait, apparently none of us can be heard except for Emily. Oh no.
Ash, I've always loved you.
I forgot to unmute you. Do you know what though?
Your what?
None of what you guys said is important. And for that reason, we're just going to double back. Ben's computer cooked itself. My computer cooked itself. It's been a night. So here we are, hanging out. Luckily, we play on Fridays, and hopefully no one has any things they have to do tomorrow aside from babysit cats.
Bodyguard.
Bodyguard. I do prefer Bodyguard.
So,
But hey, welcome to the first episode of 2024. There's been a big gap between the last episodes, and I'm not going to lie, we're all feeling it a little bit. Mostly me, to be honest. So we're gonna explore this journey together. It's going to be great. Please explain why your players aren't things they say aren't important to you.
where will we start, Emily?
Let me explain. I have a tendency to be sarcastic about things as a defense mechanism when I'm anxious and nervous. And for that reason, here we are. I'm also losing my voice. So, you know, if I sound like I've had a razor blade in my throat, that's why. But hey, this actually isn't the me show, and to prove that, we're going to go around and introduce everyone. We're going to go reverse way because I feel like we always start this way. So we're going to start down here with Tammy. Who are you? What do you do? Where can we find you?
I am Tybella 79. Here is pretty much all I do.
That's a lie and slander.
That's not lies and slander. Aside from the 24th of March, I will be appearing somewhere else.
Where?
Cat security, please.
On the Law Rights channel for a Call of Cthulhu one-shot.
So,
Don't look at me like that. You've already announced it. It's fine to say.
Yeah, exactly right.
That's right. That's the only other place you can find me at the moment, though.
Big slave, love that. Hey, speaking of slaves, Ben, who are you? Where do we find you? What do you do?
hey, my name's Ben. I'm a part of Fate's Grip. You can find me as The Last Powder in Twitch. And I am a D&D live streamer, I believe, if Emily can correct me if she needs to. You can find us at Fate's Grip. Or it's Fate's Grip on Twitch. And you can also check out YouTube. And yeah. I'm being distracted by a lovely cat, sorry.
That's Ricky.
That's Ricky.
Ricky loves Dad a lot.
Yes, I should get rid of him.
Hey, Chris, who are you? What do you do?
Well, where you can find me is nowhere. But at the moment, my current life goal is to be Ash Makes Props #1 fan and creative supporter at this stage. And I'm not sure how to actuate any of that in any way, shape, or form. But
I feel like
he's
he's
done
done
some
it
cool
at
stuff.
PAX before.
That was more kind of licking stuff, but we won't talk about that. It's on our live channel, which has been recorded, so should be fine. And I refuse any more questions. Over to the professional gamer.
Yeah, Promethean, who are you? Where can we find you? What do you do?
Hi, I'm Promethean. There's a number that is round in it. You can find me here on the Meeples and Dragons channel and the Law Rights channel. Now also on the Twitch.
But have you got a date for the next Law Art session?
I do.
Would you like to tell us when that is? Because I don't remember.
If only I did.
Okay, great. You know what? We'll announce that after the break. I guess around you'll find out what the next Law Art session is.
It will be in April though. I believe.
This is going well.
It's April 14th, I thought it was.
That sounds approximately accurate, yes.
Because it's the day after I'm seeing the Princess Bride with the Symphony Orchestra.
Yeah, which I think Ben and I might end up going to also.
Yeah.
Previously on Echoes of Divinity.
Wait. Last but certainly not least, my name is Emily. I am the occasional DM, and when I say occasional, it's been 3 months. I play Kailani Lizatari on Fate's Group every Tuesday, in which I'm apparently just an arsehole every session, so stick around for that. Last but certainly not least, if you enjoy the sarcasm of Ben and myself, you can come check us out with the rest of the Fate's Group crew on April 13th at Supernova on the Gold Coast, where we're going to be running a panel called D&D, but you roll for us, where you roll all of our dice and make all of our decisions. This will always be canon to the story that we tell on the Fake Script channel. So come and ruin our history for us. Aside from that, I don't have an intro to roll, and I don't have Ash to play one musical note. So without further ado, we are going to recap. Deetwenty, because you were so sarcastic about it, I'm going to let you recap for us.
Wow.
What, the entire campaign, or would you?
No, just last session.
Oh, for the love of! I had a whole thing set up. So, one of the audience and cast members and DM, because you can write some notes through this one. We leveled up, which was fantastic, and we arrived at an inn, which all of us had written down, apart from Benjamin, who's going to be smacked for that one. We decided that it was time to have a bit of conversation. And because we traveled for a long time as a group, some of the party decided that the best way to have a conversation is to go upstairs and consume large amounts of alcohol while having a little bit of fun. And by fun, we mean conversation, light banter, and betting if the very, very, very wonderful Scarlet could beat another person we met in combat, to which Soul waged a large amount of money against the party member and one big.
What was the name of that party member?
I wasn't there. You can't ask me. You'd have to ask Velendar on who bet on who, because Marcus was downstairs engaging in conversation to further his understanding of this world we were in and some of the challenges in place. Marcus was engaged with a number of the people in the bar to get the kind of vibe, where the rest of the group was upstairs for a lengthy amount of time. There was some really interesting conversations with the orc that we'd met on the trail, who seemed to be generally very lovely, but the muscle of the particular non-player, the others we'd met with it. And then we met a very lovely elf lady that came downstairs that seemed to have a particular dislike of Velendar for some strange reason. We cut very rapidly upstairs, where Soul, Velendar, and the Scarlet had decided that the night needed to go on further, and Sol left the room, leaving 4 in a room with only 2 beds, which became 1. And we fade to black on that particular situation from there. Just before everything went on, the bard of the party, which happens to be Scarlet, got a 23 in a row, where the actual bard got like a -5, I think it was, and started off a raucous piece. Marcus covered himself heroically by, of course, casting suggestion on the barman to be Scarlet's accompaniment for the rest of the evening. As we all thought it was fading to black, Velendar had an incredibly interesting encounter, which only he, as far as we know, witnessed. DM, back to you.
Yes, this incredibly interesting encounter was only witnessed by Velendar because no one rolled high enough to see it, in which you had a kniffy held to your throat, and you were questioned quite heavily about your past.
Somewhat. I guess, look, at the end of the day, Velendar just exhausts the subjects of his attentions. I do have a question, though, for the DM, real quick. Now, I know you shut Ben down on this at the end of the session, and
Get wrecked, Ben.
and I know that we have recently just leveled up, but surely Scarlet and Velendar should level up again because they fucked. I would think that would be at least on the table for discussion.
That's okay. Let's bring that up. Do you remember what you rolled as a performance check, Promethean?
I do not actually recall what I rolled.
I believe it was under a 10.
No, he got a 14.
Okay, just over a 10.
Yeah.
Sure.
And the girls both got over 20.
Keeping in mind that Astrid got a natural 20, which is a critical success. So if anyone had the right to discuss a level up, it would likely only be Scarlet. And the answer is absolutely not.
It's worth a shot.
But I appreciate you asking. So after this encounter with Tybella, who does then retire to her own quarters, as she leaves the room, the last thing you would have seen Velendar is that she does shift back into the form that you recognized her initially as, with her dark hair, an elven appearance. Fuck, Ash. Fuck your way to level 20, apparently is the goal of this game now. So after Tybella leaves, and you bed down for the evening, you find sleep relatively easily. And most of you do. All of you, except for you, Velendar, currently, will get a long rest. Because, Velendar, as you start to finally drift off once again, having already been woken up once, you immediately feel your body just goes cold. Like, you could almost, if your eyes were open, you could breathe and you would see your breath in the air. And at the moment, through your dreams, all you see is absolute pitch darkness. Until in the distance, right on the horizon of your eyesight, you see basically a flare, a small flare of light. Kind of like the flickering flame of a candle. And as you're watching it, it begins to expand. It's interesting though, because it's absolutely silent. You don't even hear, the air is still, you don't hear any breeze, you don't hear anything. And as this continues, you find yourself walking towards this light. And as you do, you begin to hear the cries of people screaming and yelling. And it's almost like battle. You can hear the sounds of battle ringing out all around you, surround sound. But you don't see anything but this light until it completely overcomes your vision. And for a moment, you can almost feel heat on your face. It goes from ice cold to burning hot, like uncomfortably so. and you find yourself awoken almost immediately again, and you're covered in this like light sheen of sweat. And you're not quite sure what to make of it, I guess. But it feels unsettling.
Okay.
Is there anything you'd like to do before you go back to sleep?
For the sake of the others in the bed, I think Velendar will find some kind of water source and just give himself a scrub down.
Fair enough. You do so quite easily. This room is huge, and you do find like a water trough in the corner where you can freshen yourself up before you retire back to bed. Is there anything else you'd like to do?
I think not. He'd probably, so he's done this before, in a slightly different scenario. He'd probably do like a case of the perimeter of the place that they're staying in, just to kind of calm himself down and kind of get out of that mental state of anxiety a bit, and just do a little wander around.
Are you leaving the room?
Yeah, as quietly as possible, so as not to wake anyone else.
You do so pretty easily. Can I get you to roll a perception check for the perimeter, please?
Certainly. 18. What's that? 21.
Yeah, sweet. I mean, you're perceptive as fuck. You, as you're doing a perimeter check, you're walking down the stairs and you actually see Rog still sitting downstairs, the orc, that has fallen asleep. His head has actually fallen asleep on top of a mug. So, like, his head is resting on top of this giant mug on the table. And he is snoring so loud. Like, hello, buddy. You are quite surprised that no one has told him to shut up, essentially. It's like a lawnmower starting. It's real loud. As you make your way around the perimeter of the building, you see a couple of, like, patrons that have obviously left other establishments, or another establishment nearby that, you know, stumbling a little bit. At this point in time, it's like beginning to teeter more into early morning than it is to late night. And so you actually start to see some shift workers, being that this is in Kaivala is more of a mining community, you do actually see some shift workers begin to leave their homes and make their way towards one of the mining trails. Aside from that, nothing too out of the ordinary, just the odd passerby.
After that, yeah, it would be back into bedding vibes.
And you do so this time, as soon as your head hits the pillow, you are out like light. And you rest well for the evening. You may also take a full long rest. As we reach the next morning, it is a cooler morning than the others. You know, with Ember now in the past, the Emberfest, sorry, in the past, you know, the air in the morning is cold, but it does warm up throughout the day. You hear the sounds of breakfast being prepared downstairs, all of you. For you, Marcus, you awaken in your own room. And as do you, Sol, you both awaken in your own rooms. Very well rested. Nothing that disturbed you throughout the night at all. You can both smell like maple from pancake syrup as well. Like, it hits your nostrils and it smells fucking delectable. For you, Velendar and Scarlet, you both awaken and Astrin is no longer in the room. What would you like to do? Goes for all of you.
I mean, if I've just woken up, I'll come downstairs and see good way to be met by the fresh pancakes and maple syrup. I'm looking forward to some breakfast.
So, as the first person heading downstairs, you see basically a buffet breakfast being laid out on the bar top. You see pancakes, you see bacon, you see like freshly scrambled eggs, you see fresh vegetables, you see bread that still has like steam rising off it from heat. It all looks absolutely wonderful. And as you head downstairs, you see Astrid and you see Tybella both sitting at a table. You see Jonan is actually already at the buffet and is helping himself to food as he's kind of making his way down the bar.
If at all I make eye contact with them, I'll just nod at him as if, hey, I recognize you. And I'll gather up some food and then probably head over to the table.
Are you sitting with them or are you sitting at your own table?
No, I'll go join them. We've traveled at least a day or two together, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll make a stop off at the bar and make sure that I need to pay for the food.
As you approach the bar and do attempt to pay for the food, it has already been taken care of. And you see...
Is that unusual?
I mean, it is unusual, but you're also very well aware that Jonan and Astrid paid for all of your rooms. So,
right.
You know, it is assumed that you could easily make the assumption that they had covered that for you. Jonan gives you a nod as you approach, and he says, "Big night. How did you sleep?"
For me, no, not at all. I slept well as well. I'm looking forward to filling my tummy. What about yourself? Any festivities? Any mischief you caused?
No, I too retired earlier than I would usually expect. Are you all making your way to Maluhia? Are you needing us to accompany you, or what? What are your movements from here? I get the sense that you're not all quite sure what you're doing.
I don't have my notes. We are heading to Maluhia. Yeah, just set it out over.
You're aware that that's where your next goal is.
Yeah, we're not near the border crossing though, are we?
You have crossed the border into Tybella.
Right.
Okay. To know that you're now going into Maluhia because that is the easiest route. Not the easiest, but the one requested to not get caught via sea.
Isn't there a big fortification between the Maluhia and the central area?
Tybella, you know that you had to border cross to a quite secure location, but the border cross out is not an issue.
Okay, isn't it? Well, yeah, we are heading to Maluhia. But I guess the route that we take is undetermined. I don't fear for our safety. Is there a reason why you would like to join us, or you just need some companionship?
No, I just mentioned because, as previously said, you know, any friend of Scarlet's is a friend of ours, and should you need guides, we would be more than happy to help. You know, anywhere that we can go is beneficial to us also. We can find business anywhere.
You're all part of the troop, yeah?
We are on hiatus at the moment. However, yes, usually part of the troop.
So tell me a little bit about Scarlet.
Is there a reason you're asking me and not her?
Is there any reason why you don't talk to somebody else and ask for information?
Are you asking for gossip?
No, not necessarily.
To be fair,
If you're going to be defensive about it, then I assume
I'm not.
she's not the greatest.
not trying to be defensive. I just wonder why you haven't asked her more about herself.
Sure, what's your name again? Sorry.
Jonan?
Jonan, tell me about yourself. And then tell me what you think about your friend think about you.
I think I might get this breakfast into me first, because now I feel like I'm being interrogated.
Yes. Enjoy your breakfast then.
Okay, and you too, feel free if you'd like to join us. You are more than welcome. And he will, like, gather his plate and just kind of, like, make his way to the table and take a seat. Marcus, what are you doing?
As with every morning.
You're muted, my friend. See how I called you my friend? Oh my god.
As is Marcus' ritual when he's at an inn of such fine quality. Marcus has his hair, comes down the stairs. His hair is in a hairnet. He has a loose towel thrown across his shoulder and a loincloth, and walks in and says, "Good morning. The baths are aware to. Is there any bar staff around?"
You do see a human standing behind the bar, washing out glasses. You didn't see this human the night before. They have bright, like, ginger-esque strawberry blonde hair, a smattering of freckles on their face as well. They look a little bit disheveled, like they've maybe woken up quite early to get this all organized. And as they're wiping out glasses, they, give you a curt nod.
The beautiful Lazy Trout Inn. I'm looking for somewhere to bathe. This food looks fantastic. And Astrin, Tybella, Sol, how are you?
Wasn't you talking to me?
The bartender, or the person manning the bar currently, looks at you and, like, almost goes to answer, and then you ask other people how they are. And so she kind of goes,
No, please. Where it is. And Marcus will take a power stance on the steps, hands on hips. Please.
she looks quite flustered. And you do see, without even trying, you see, like, a slight, like, blush tint to her cheeks as she's, like, trying to figure out how to do her job and talk to you at the same time. And she says,
You doing a power force?
what?
How tough
You can do an inside check on how cool he looks. Go on, roll a performance check for me, Marcus.
At disadvantage because of the hair.
No, not disadvantage.
Not disadvantage.
Marcus would be advantage.
Yeah.
Look, the hair is somewhat caught up at this stage. D&D Beyond. Tomorrow's skew. Performance check for my hair +6. This is the first roll of the night. Tragically for M, it's a 19.
Okay, and what was yours, Benjamin?
I'm impressed. Well, what am I rolling inside?
Yeah.
I got 13 and a 5. That's a 18.
Okay, like, for a moment, you kind of, like, and then you, like, take a moment, and it's just
Really
the way
inhale it.
it's just the way what? It's just the way the light is hitting Marcus's belly button in this moment that makes you stop for a moment and go,
Light the smoke.
this is a glorious person.
Yeah.
For a moment, you kind of, like, you don't know how to move. Hey, Laura, thank you so much for the raid. Appreciate you stopping by. Welcome to the first session of Echoes of Divinity for the year. We're here with some wonderful creators. We got Tybella79, we got Promethean, we got Deetwenty, we got Ben from Face Grip, and unfortunately, you got me. Hey, thanks for
Watch
hanging
that
out.
mouth out immediately.
Okay.
Thank you.
But yeah, you are enamored for a moment with Marcus.
Enamored, that's a good word. Okay.
And just a quick pick me up. There was sorry, I missed your name.
She like looks around and makes sure
Yes,
that
yes, yes,
you're actually
yes, young lady, your name.
my name.
Yes.
No one asked me my name.
Well, I'm asking you your name now. So
Well,
if this makes
then
you
call me-
uncomfortable, then and again, just kind of shake it off.
Then call me Mrs. Trout.
Mrs. Trout, what a delight. And if you could point me towards the baths, that'd be marvelous.
Well, good news and bad news. The good news, there is baths. The bad news, they are over the border.
Ah, strange, because I thought you had plumbing upstairs, because I could hear this strange banging sound, and I wasn't sure what that was, so it was a bit, perhaps outside.
We place fresh water in every room, and we do have, fresh water. We've got a little bathing trough just off, and she points to the right hand side of the staircase where it looks like there is some sort of a lavatory there, that might have a water trough to throw some water on your face, but
Okay.
Like a birdie bath?
yeah, kind of.
Well, if that's the way you freshen up in the Lazy Trout, I'm happy to whatever it is. And if you could wake my wonderful, wonderful traveling companions, they seem to be unusually asleep at this point in time. It again was probably from a lot of the groaning that was going on in the house. Maybe there was leaning. Was there heavy winds or something last night?
Mrs. Trout looks at you and goes, no.
Never mind. I'm sure it's fine. And then Marcus will go off and wash his unmentionables.
Yeah,
in the boat bath.
great. And when you go in there, the water looks clear and it looks clean. It smells a little funny,
Sure.
but for all intents and purposes, you feel clean after you use it.
Do others though. End scene.
And see, back to the room upstairs. Scarlet and Velendar, what are you two doing?
Which one of us wakes first?
I think Velendar, because he had a rough beginning to the meditative night, will probably have a little meditation in.
But in case you forgot, he also had a wing blanket at one point too. He had a feathery blanket at one point.
Oh, I forgot about the. Yeah, I forgot about the wing blanket. That was amazing. Yeah. No, he's still going to be in late, I think, this particular morning.
So if Scarlet wakes first, she's basically just going to wash down with water in the room and get dressed and head downstairs.
Yeah, you do so quite easily. Similar situation with the water. It's clear. It smells a little funny, but you've travelled around a lot at this point. This is not unusual to you. And when you head downstairs, you see Sol. You don't see Marcus, as he has momentarily disappeared. You kind of emerge, and moments later, Marcus would also emerge. But you do see Astrid, Tybella, and Jonan now all sitting at a table with Sol, and they have heaped plates in front of them. You see the buffet also.
Oh, and she will totally load that plate up with proteins and carbs, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, easy as you pile up some bacon. You got some toast, some sourdough bread on there, little a side dish of butter, some pancakes. It's a good time. It smells amazing. This is a really random tavern, but the food looks amazing. Velendar, when you awaken, Scarlet is gone, as is Astrid, and Tybella is nowhere to be seen. What would you like to do?
Velendar will head downstairs in his silk kimono. He'll grab breakfast first and then probably set up, and it'll just be light, nothing too heavy. And he'll set up directly opposite Tybella. And so if anyone's like already opposite Tybella at the table, he'll probably almost forcefully just kind of push his way in to do so.
Yeah, great. So as you head downstairs, can I get you to roll a perception check for me?
Mm-hmm.
And Scarlet, may I double check? Having obviously noticed Velendar walk downstairs, would you just be continuing about your day or doing anything to acknowledge his presence?
Only the same way that she acknowledges other people. Like, it's just a normal thing for her.
Yeah, cool. Good to know.
Another dirty 21.
Yeah, great. You notice for a moment that Jonan and Scarlet both, unless Marcus, you have now emerged. Marcus and Sol, unless either of you are making eyes at Velendar, you would feel the eyes of Jonan particularly, but Scarlet just momentarily like out of your peripherals as you then made yourself a plate. As you go to sit down, you notice that Jonan is actually sitting directly opposite Tybella, and as you kind of sit down, it's one of those awkward things where like he's got like a fork and you're just kind of like, you're not like shoving or anything, but you're kind of shouldering in there, and he's like,
Yeah, brilliant.
So,
Like,
Perfect.
And now you push it out of the road.
yeah.
Slightly.
Tybella actually doesn't even acknowledge your existence. She just continues to. Her plate is relatively clear, aside from maybe a mouthful or two left. She actually raises a mug to her lips and does not acknowledge you in any form.
Velendar might like munch on a breadstick or some such and just pose a question to the table. Did anyone have any strange dreams last night? I found it very difficult to get to sleep between visitations from nocturnal visitors and strange lights and burning visions of war. It's very strange.
Who's at the table?
Here. Unless Marcus has not joined the table. Marcus, where would you be?
So Marcus was just going to join the table after giving himself a wash, but the Velendar bit, he kind of pauses, and it's not dramatically overly pausing. It's that bit where you kind of stand there and kind of watch a scene unfold. And he is kind of almost absently kind of dabbing a damp cloth around, but watching the scene fairly intently. There seems to be, especially the Velendar Tybella piece. So I'm just trying to get a sense of, because we've not seen. Sorry, we although we spent a couple of days traveling with this group, right? I'm still trying to work out the dynamic. Marcus is still trying to work out the dynamic with where Scarlet kind of fits in here, and so he's really fascinated in doing that. So if I can make an insight check to see how the group is, I'm not overly looking at.
Go for it. Make an insight check for me.
Insight check. That's a 12.
One moment. Let me just get up a character sheet real quick. Got about 6 of them sitting here. Okay, cool. You would notice that Jonan looks kind of like the awkward younger brother, despite being a twin. Just like in this situation specifically, from where you saw him previously as a confident, like,
Sure.
he knew his shit. he kind of feels like that really awkward, like, bonus character younger brother that, like, doesn't really know what's going on. He does, like, he focuses a lot on Scarlet. He looks over at her quite consistently and the rest of the group and his sister. You get the sense that he is almost either A, watching the scene like you are, but not so inconspicuously.
Sure.
Or B, he's kind of seeking some sort of a guidance. Tybella, very stone-faced. You
Yeah.
cannot read her.
Sure, that's fine.
For Astrid, you see almost an underlying smirk on her face of like, I know something and you don't. But you don't know what that is.
Sure, that's fine. Yep.
It's an odd dynamic.
Sure, no.
Particularly because the day before, Astrid and Jonan kind of felt like the leaders and like of this little posse, and Tybella just kind of felt like she was there, assertive but there. Now it kind of feels a little bit mishmashy.
Okay. And Velendar's reseating, did that cause further kind of disruption to the table, or
You would see Astrid. There's like a momentary confusion, but also a bit of amusement to her expression. Jonan is just genuinely confused. Tybella, once again, you cannot get a read on. She's just stone cold face.
But from Velendar, it'd be obvious that it was very intentional. So he'll, asking the question, look directly at Tybella when he asks it.
okay.
She'll just continue to sip from her mug, and then place it down, and you like hear almost with some sort of a tension in the air. You hear like the weight of it hit the table. All of you.
Is anybody saying anything after that, or is there a little bit of dead silence?
Momentary dead silence, unless any of you wish to say anything.
Velendar, do you normally drink heavily before you go to bed? Your REMs might not be up to scratch. You might have to have not as much alcohol before you go to bed. It sometimes helps with dreams, and you don't get as much of a restful sleep.
No, he didn't have too much alcohol.
Oh, you were together last night.
Indeed. I'll take that advice on board, Sol. Appreciate it.
I mean, I've got some herbs and things like that if you wish to have a better sound sleep. But, yeah, dreams often can be talk about prophecy, witches, and things like that. But sometimes it's just a struggle with what you need to do or what you're not happy with throughout the day. But speaking of before, what did you guys get up to last night?
Well, I mean,
Awkward.
apparently we had good drinks. That's the thing.
I bet yours, I missed that.
Oh, I slept like a baby. I don't even remember what drinks I had.
No, lovely. So everyone's ready for a good days of adventure then? We've still got a lot of tracking to do before we can head to Maluhia.
So we're sneaking into a country. Adventure isn't what we're seeking on this particular journey. Let's try and
Right,
make
we'll have
it a
to-
nice, quiet one if we can.
Well, so far I've not seen much of anything that is quiet within this group. Which to say has not been unpleasant. I've enjoyed my stay.
And to that, I think Velendar will have a little chuckle and just kind of like trace an imaginary score on an imaginary board. Have a nod, continue eating his breadstick.
Which you all see. Astrid looks at all of you and says, I'm sorry, I'm just slightly confused. Are you or are you not old friends? Because it feels like you don't know each other that well.
We've known each other for less than a week.
That makes a lot more sense. A lot more sense. This is incredibly awkward. And not for me. I'm quite comfortable. But this is awkward for all of you.
Is it? I haven't noticed.
What's awkward?
There are certain times when you enter a room and when you breathe in, it feels thicker than what it should, when you take a normal inhale. And to me, it feels like this air is tar.
After she says that, I'm realizing I haven't had a bath in a bit. I'll just be like,
She looks at you and she does give, her face like breaks from almost seriousness and she has a slight chuckle. And she says, not like that, darling.
I mean, it's not me. Like, I don't. Is it? I don't think I'm acting.
I'm not throwing accusations. I'm just saying either you all need to sort out your shit or something has gone down that maybe we should all discuss. Or some of you amongst yourselves.
I must admit I'm at somewhat of a loss. I'm enjoying my pancakes. I thought yesterday was rather successful.
Joan, for a moment, looks
Did I
at you,
miss something?
Velendar, and is like, and just doesn't say anything and goes back to finishing the last of his food.
So it's obviously awkward here now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, none of you need to inside check. It's fucking awkward.
Okay.
Right, I am going to get some juice. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I'm trying to excuse myself. It's
What's
that I don't understand what's going on.
What's happened that I don't know about?
Jonan looks around and he goes, okay, we're all very aware, right, that, there is a reason I dished out keys last night. Is it really that weird?
What, that you dished out keys? No.
No, just why? The why.
This
So people had options?
Okay. Are you not needing transportation to Maluhia? Because if you need people to accompany you, I guess maybe that's the subject we should talk about instead.
in an attempt to awkwardly diffuse the situation, Marcus goes up and puts his hand on Jonan's shoulder and say, "Look, we're actually fine to travel. I understand that this is your home base, and you don't need to be worried about Scarlet. I mean, we're a relatively capable group, but if you do have a good map and some suggestions on travel, that would be absolutely marvelous to do that." Jonan, do you have something that you could provide as a way through that would take us through some safer back roads away from nefarious individuals?
I mean, to be fair, the road from here is pretty straightforward, and he produces a map that he provides to you. It's actually not too different than the maps of Jamada that you've seen. The difference is being, I guess, it does have the Lazy Trout marked out on the map, has the mountain pass that you were ambushed in marked out. It does have the mines of Kaivala marked out on it as well.
Okay.
Or the entrances that you would make it, the general area of entrances. Everyone knows that Kaivala is mining town. The entrances themselves are not widely known, but the kind of general direction of where they would be entered through is known enough that there is a red circle around it.
Okay.
Aside from that, you do see some notes around ascenders that say, "Not this time around."
Do you mind if I borrow this moment? Scarlet, you've travelled quite extensively as part of your trip. And Marcus will trape out where we are to the moment to where we're going to. Any thoughts on the path forward?
No, well, these guys have travelled more than me, and I travelled with them. So what I learned, they already know. And then she'll like turn to Joan and go, "Is this because I slept with your sister? Because like
He chokes on like the drink that he is drinking.
Velendar will just give him just a nice
Yeah.
gentle tap on the back as he does that. It's okay.
Listen. What you and my sister do is absolutely between you. I don't want to picture it, is all I have to say. So,
yeah, that's fair."
I don't feel awkward about that. I feel awkward about the sudden closeness I maybe have with one of your friends, but sure.
Okay.
And I feel awkward about the scenario where the three of you are just not cool with talking about it.
I don't care if we talk about it.
It just feels like
Or that there isn't a need to talk about it, really. And just one brief correction. Strictly speaking, I was between them.
again, not something I wanted to picture, but appreciate a sentiment.
Because like, look, I know that you're aware of certain things in my past, and I just want to assure you that currently we're on a break, and I was encouraged to explore other people, and that's kind of what I'm doing.
Again, not something I needed to picture, but I am happy for all of you. And you watch as Astra is just like shaking her head this entire time. Like you can see not embarrassment, but it's more like, gosh, she's stupid. Like you just see that on her face. As she's sitting there trying to ignore this conversation.
Now that that elephant's out of the room, what is this tension then? If that's not the tension, what is this tension?
Astrid looks at you all and says, I mean, I'm not one to mull over these things. I thought it's happened. We had fun. It was great. It is now a new day.
Great.
This scenario is strange.
But I'm trying to figure
I
out.
don't know whether it's like the awkwardness of you all not knowing each other well, but this is something I know quite well, and I'm okay. Awkwardness of you all not knowing each other well, but this is something I know quite well, and I'm okay.
Like, I don't care. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't me. I'm just trying to figure out where so if it's not from me, then what's causing the tension?
I'm sure it's just the absence of a plan for our journey. I'm curious. Tell me, Tybella, what do you think? Do you think the three of you should accompany us?
Ella, who has sat here like literally watching ping pong between you all consistently, looks at you and like looks straight at you and says, I'm not one to tell you whether you need accompaniment. If you need it, then my friends would, I guess, supply it. I will join them. Do you need accompaniment?
What do we think, team? Should we bring our three new best friends along?
You see Astrid, and she does at this moment. She does say, I'll be quite honest. I am quite interested in seeing this fruit that you speak of. I myself would like to experience it. It's not something that it is spreading, but it's not widely spread, and it's not accessible enough that I can walk up to a vendor and just purchase it. And if I do get the opportunity to try it myself, I would be okay with that. Your company or not,
sure we put some safety guidelines around that before you do, like, you know, that you have a buddy to watch out for you in case you have a bad reaction, all that kind of stuff.
The good news is I was born with one. And she looks over at Jonan.
As she's saying that,
That's actually kind of cute.
I'll come back. I have orange juice. Speaking of fruit.
So you walk back and it all feels a little strange, but you know, you've just
think I
made a
might,
stranger.
Try and make a purchase next to Marcus because I realize it's convenience, but juice.
Well, that's a delightful boy. Frog in the throat. I suggest there was a delightful opportunity here to increase our numbers. My concern would be that we've already increased our numbers, and a large group to do an investigation may be problematic. I mean, if you'd like to meet us there, we could split up and meet together as, you know, in the town itself. But such a large troop of obvious kind of adventurers and their doers, I think may draw attention, but smaller groups would probably be the better option at the moment.
At this moment, Tybella pipes up and she says, well, if that's what you're asking, regardless, I would be happy to keep my eye on all of you. But as she says this, Velendar, you are the one that notices that she's only looking at you when she says this.
Absolutely, just holds the stare.
Can I roll
It's
an
like-
insight check on that?
Absolutely.
And we'll initiate an actual staring competition.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I could get in on that insight check as well, that'd be most kind.
Yeah, great. If anyone would like to insight check this, they may.
Yeah, what's that?
So I got a 15.
And I feel like you and I need to have an actual staring competition to determine who wins and who loses.
I have too much
Going on.
self-hatred to do that with you. Okay, sorry, can I just get rolls one more time?
15.
Marcus, what did you roll?
22.
Sol, did you roll for this?
I did. 24.
Ooh.
All of you do notice this, and you feel like, based on the way that Tybella is speaking, there is an underlying pointedness to her words. It's not like a hatred or a threat even, but it does feel like it has an air of threat to it. It is a Big Brother is watching you style feeling that you all get.
Oh, I think I know where the tension is now. Like, did
Fuck.
you hook up as well? Like, is that what happened?
Tybella doesn't flinch, she just keeps staring at you, Velendar.
No, Scarlet. That's not what happened.
Then what happened?
Oh, I'm sure Tybella here is simply reacting to how aggressively, perhaps, our first encounter went.
What, where she tried to stab Marcus?
Oh, my particular approach after the attempted stabbing. I was a little full on. I'm sure that's flavored Tybella's perception of me.
So, is Scarlet sitting next to Velendar?
Tybella, Velendar, Jonan, Astrid, Scarlet, Marcus Sol.
Okay. So Scarlet being the wonderfully awkward, somewhat childish, will basically just do this thing where she like leans across in front of Tybella's vision and go, "Is
She
that
does
right?
follow you as you do this.
Yeah, is that right, or is there something else?"
I'm sorry, I stopped paying attention to what you were saying. Could you repeat that?
So, is the tension between you two because of that first interaction, or is it because of something else?
Sure, I feel any, really.
Well, you're acting like there is. And if we are all going to go on the road, we need to sort this out.
I mean, if you feel tension, that is not my responsibility.
Um,
Well, I don't feel tension, but it was pointed out by everyone that there is tension in the room. And it's
No, I don't see any tension here.
Are you lying?
We should just get along with this job. Put everything else to the side.
And Scarlet's totally ignoring that. No, I'm not blind. I just want to know what's going on.
Going to get another glass of juice.
I have some right here.
I don't think so. But I welcome you to talk amongst yourselves if that's all you have to discuss. If you wish to travel, and you need the protection, which I dare say you might, based on how we fought you.
What you mean when we beat you? Yeah, sure.
Don't recall the part where you did.
Oh, I'm pretty sure we actually had you fairly outnumbered.
Well,
And,
then maybe we can rematch one day. Until then, I'm going to go and get myself a beverage. If you would like the company, you may have it. If not, then that's fine also. We have other things to do that don't involve you. And she stands and she makes her way to the bar.
Yeah.
Do the others join her, or
No, they just kind of sit there.
right? Do they with the same role or without? Doesn't matter. Do they have like
They look unbothered. They just kind of look like this is normal behavior.
right? Okay.
Kind of like that uptight friend you have.
Yep. Got one of those.
Whoa. Is it me? Am I the answer?
Oh no.
Marcus, what are you doing?
Marcus has been watching this entire engagement going across, and with a vaguely wry smile on his face. I'm trying to work out because Soul's that kind of person in the group is like, I just want to get on with the mission and not do that. The tension's obviously Scarlet's called out something, and there's obviously something happening with Tybella.
Oh yeah.
But
Oh yeah, you can sense the tension between her and Velendar.
Marcus already had a sense that was the piece, and is looks at Mrs. Trout. Mrs. Trout.
She is actually cleaning up some dishes that have been either dumped on the bar or that troughs that are empty from the buffet earlier. And she stops and she looks over at you and she says, "Yes."
The roads along here, are they're well guarded? Do you see much in the way of bandits? I mean, obviously, you probably hear most of the tales. Is it something that you need large groups of travelers to, or can a small group of travelers such as yourselves go through unmolested? To Maluhia.
Known for its exports of precious jewels and gems and the likes, and for that reason, most cargo is heavily guarded. If you do have anything that is of import to you that might be worth more than the average cart, then I would recommend absolutely having the protection that you need. It is guarded, but that's not to say that we don't have our fair share of attacks.
Oh, that's a marvelous summary, which literally gave me very little information that was of use. Thank you, Mrs. Trout. I'm going to go and get change.
Me and I was traveling the roads. And she looks at her arm muscles and she looks at her hands. I'm not really good with magic. Not that strong. I'll probably have people accompany me. But I'm not a traveler.
Yeah. It's. I feel that we're safe with Skippy, the kobold, in our wagon. He's been a wonderful mascot that's been protecting us throughout. Hasn't popped in really. Skippy, yes, absolutely. So I'm just going to go and get change. I'm going to take one of these wonderful buns that you've got and some other things, and I'll nip up and get changed. And folks, should we get on the road? Because, I think Sol's wanting to move on. He's got that kind of shifty look about him that he wants to just move on. Sol?
Eating pancakes, drinking juice.
See, he's cracking on. Yes, sitting in front of us.
Marcus does.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Velendar will kind of stand up then and wander over to the map and just kind of nod in agreement before Marcus nicks off. I know you're in your morning wear, aren't you?
Correct.
You wouldn't have your cartographer's tools on your person, I take it.
Oh no, always have a pouch kicking around with stuff in it.
Right, excellent. Velendar's totally going to lift that real quick.
Sure.
And probably just make maybe one or two corrections to the one or two of the mine entrances.
Okay.
On the map.
You do so very easily. You know this place very well.
Yeah, and just super casually, and then just the pouch goes back in Marcus's pocket.
Yeah. Marcus is doing this. And then oh. I think we have a pathway forward. I'm going to get changed, and I'll let you finish this wonderful meal, Mrs. Trout. My compliments to the chef. We had a chef, but I think he's gone on some sort of hiatus at the moment. But we'll deal with him shortly.
She
and then
looks at you and she says, "Oh, you mean the pastry chef?"
Sure. And then he walks upstairs.
He left some stuff and then he ran away.
What did he leave exactly?
Very sweet digs in it.
Some of the pastries. They're not bad if you try them. Okay, sure.
Perhaps we left the recipe there for you, and you can put yourself in the map.
At this point, Astrid and Jonan stand and almost in sync. And Jonan says, "I think we'll leave you all to just discuss what you're gonna do. Despite kind of what everyone said, I think it would benefit us if you could show us where this place is. We are curious, but if you don't want to, that's also up to you. Anyway, we'll reconvene in about 10. He almost gives Astrid a pat on the back to be like, "Yep, come on, let's go." And they both walk off to where Tybella is, towards the bar. What are you all doing?
Well, I'm ready to leave this delightful little place anytime that you all are.
I mean, I'm good to go as well. I've got all my things gathered. I don't have any goodbyes to say.
I still feel like not being told something.
friends don't feel so forthcoming with information while we're around. Perhaps you should talk to them on your own.
It's my friends.
They're not.
No, they are, but it's not them withholding information.
Right. Possible that they have a different contract.
No, it's more to do with her and him. To like find Tybella and Velendar.
Me?
There is something you're not telling me. That is not just that you pissed her off.
Oh, there are so many things I'm not telling you, Scarlet. But to
You're
be
doing the issue at hand.
to be completely honest, these will have to wait for a time in which we can perhaps speak more freely.
Is it relevant to us deciding whether or not to travel?
I mean, we've come this far on our own. Is Maluhia that dangerous that we need another 3?
I mean, I'm biased. I've travelled with them for a very long time, and part of me would like to keep travelling with them. As
I mean,
long as
they're
it's
not
fun,
unpleasant.
But that's not to do with me. That's to do with enjoying the company.
Well, to your point, they're not unpleasant. They're good company. And no, I don't know them, but perhaps if you want to make Scarlet.
It's at this point Marcus returns more clothed than beforehand, with some extra pouches and bits and pieces.
I like your pouches.
2 towels.
Yeah, 2 towels. A lot of jingling, and comes down to the table and sees the separation between groups, and then kind of leans in and says, Scarlet, I realize these are our friends and colleagues, but we were, presented with an opportunity to do something ourselves, and given their shenanigans that they've cast, I'm not sure that our current patron would be overly keen on bringing them through, and we can move faster. I mean, it's your call at this stage. You know these people better than I, but I think we should probably part company unless you have strong feelings against it, so we can just kind of get on. There's
I don't think the patron would necessarily have an issue.
Yeah.
Given something to do with the patron. But I'm indifferent. I can see benefits to both options and cons to both options. So how about we let the person who knows more about what's going on make the decision, being Velendar.
Well, thank you for the opportunity, Scarlet. I appreciate that. Perhaps before I make that decision, I'm wondering, how much of a problem would you have if we were to say, throw your former colleagues under the bus should we get in some sort of trouble?
Tybella, not an issue at all.
Great! Excellent. I'd love for them all to go.
I would have a problem with you throwing Jonan and Aster under the bus.
No, dude.
Tybella
Do
goes.
buses exist?
Large horse-drawn carts.
Do
You've never heard of a
buses
bus?
exist?
I mean, Tybella's just a bitch anyway.
What backwater rustic place did you grow up in, son?
I actually grew up in a pretty backwater rusty place.
Yeah.
Marcus puts a
Anyway,
sorry.
Tybella's just a bitch. Throw him the car we want.
Might
Yeah.
be a little too far. But Marcus, to your point, might be good to have a distraction. Should we require it?
And Marcus puts a hand on Belinda's shoulder for a moment. It's like, I'm concerned about the distraction. For a moment of being mildly serious, Belinda, I have there's a great deal of depth. Scarlet is I think is has a marvelous turn of phrase on it, but I have more of a concern. She is an enigma that I'm not sure would be the best time to uncover this. Maybe a bit later on when we're in better possession and in a better position. I mean, they were very, very capable as a group, and
She's not a mystery. She's just a bitch. It's simple. She thinks she's better. Maybe she is, but doesn't mean she has to present with that attitude.
Would that be an accompaniment to our group for what we're trying to do then? Or would that be a hinder?
You don't have to like everyone you work with as long as you can work together to get the job done and your differences don't get in the road.
I think Marcus brings up a good point there.
I don't think it's like Scarlet that I'm worried about. It's more if we're going the same paths. And I had Marcus lowers his voice slightly for the first time. A curious conversation with Tybella, and I don't claim to be perfect on understanding people, but I think she has some other directions from even your group of friends and the twins as a particular one. She's strongly orientated towards some curious goals.
Did she threaten you?
Not me. And again, hand still on Valendar's shoulder. It's there's more to the dislike to Velendar than I understand at the moment. But
I would wager, Marcus, that my conversation with Tybella was far more interesting and curious than yours.
and Marcus kind of takes his hand off the shoulder for a moment. It's like, oh. And then he plonks himself down to you and goes, and?
Again, another time, then we can
Ah.
talk more freely, but now,
oh.
let us ready ourselves.
Oh,
to-
yes.
How about we all go upstairs?
Everyone that just spoke and tried to not be heard, can I get you all to make stealth checks, please?
Oh, Scarlet was more than happy for people to hear her calling Tybella a bitch.
Yeah, not me.
19, making it a 27.
Interesting.
Sorry, 28.
Yeah,
No, 27.
Marcus's baritone was a 12.
That's real cute for me, yeah. What was yours, Marcus?
A baritone 12.
Okay, good to know. Thank you.
Most respectable. It's above.
Keep going. That's just a question I had.
Do we need to go upstairs and pack our stuff?
Well, we've got
I'm
most.
really wrong.
Most of us are ready. I think you just need to arm and armor if you're not. And Marcus kind of pats himself down, ready to go.
Do we need to go upstairs and pack our stuff?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Soul, some more orange juice would be delightful. I need to gargle. Oh.
There's plenty on the table still.
Pick up the jug. Let's go, Soul. And I loop arms with Soul and then kind of march him towards the steps.
Come along. I won't fight it.
It doesn't. As you're heading upstairs, you only really see Astrid and Tybella are still standing by the bar. They are in some sort of a conversation. Jonan, however, you see him walk off towards the washroom to freshen himself up. And you make your way upstairs back to the original shared room. And it's at that point that we're going to take a really quick 10-minute break. We will see you here in 10 minutes. We will be right back. I'm going to do the thing. If I remember how to do it.
Do the
If
thing.
I remember how
Do
to
the
do
thing.
it. Let me overlay.
Click the button. You got this.
Press all the
Where is
buttons.
Okay,
In
cool.
stream.
Click the button. Oh, no.
Be the button.
Okay.
The
It
easy
also
button.
said that we went offline, so I got very confused. But
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
Right.
It seems to be.
Yeah,
Alright.
we'll be right back.
Okay, cool.
To la la la.
La 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 la.
Oh no! Oh no! I've done the wrong overlay. Okay, there we go.
Whoa.
I did the completely wrong overlay. She's a pro streamer, everybody. Hey, welcome back to Echoes of Divinity, episode 6. Enjoy that black screen that just happened for about 3 seconds. Hey, we've done like a ton of sessions so far. And naturally, I'm gonna need someone to recap it. Do I have any volunteers?
What again?
No?
Didn't we read that
Okay.
before?
I'm gonna roll the d4, and whoever I roll has to recap the session so far. Ben, could you recap what we've done this session so far?
Jesus, I'm the worst. I don't have my notes.
You can do it from your perspective, it's fine.
Just tonight, or?
Yeah, just tonight.
Well, that's pretty easy. We woke up, we got dressed, we went downstairs, we had breakfast. And there's a little bit of tension whether or not the perhaps a little bit sexual or friendly, or maybe friends aren't friends anymore. Who knows? We're trying to figure that out right now, so we can journey forth to Maluhia, which is the left side of the continent, to finish our adventure to figure out about a potential fruit/drug that is being used to annul the population.
Yeah, that was good. Awesome. You have all made your way after some awkward encounters, I guess, if some tense encounters, downstairs. Tybella and Astrid standing by the bar. Jonan has gone to freshen himself up for the day. And you all make your way up to the original room that you all met in, the large room. The one that you, Velendar, and you, Scarlet, spent the night in. You make your way up, no issue. Doesn't seem like anyone's following you. And you head inside. What would you like to do?
Okay, perfect. I think Velendar then, as everyone has entered the room, will just real quickly just bang a dagger into the door. It would like between the door and the door frame. Start kind of getting dressed. All right, I'll make this quick and quiet, and then we move on. If we stay in here too long, this is going to be strange. The short version, Tybella isn't exactly what she seems. She knows far too much about me, more than I'm comfortable with. But I don't appear to be in any immediate danger. Nor do you. That's about it.
Did she threaten you?
Not in any meaningful way, no.
You're saying this to the whole group?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
As he's kind of getting dressed as well.
Yeah.
So it's like armoring up and getting all his gear on.
So it was strange. So I mean, I couldn't pick up chunks of her accent, Velendar. So it was very strange, and there is a level of almost malice towards you in a strange way, which I can't quite work out. Because the first thing she asked me was, why you were so angry towards her, and but the way she projected that, there seems to be something more around it, and she managed to say an awful lot without actually saying anything of use to me. So, but she took a great deal of interest into magic itself. So she's obviously looking for something. So, Scarlet, I mean, these are your friends, but I mean, having backup's always jolly good. But I think we should just move and see if they follow us. I'd be very curious to see if, with Valendar's interest from Tybella, they follow us after all. Because Astrid seems to be, I don't really care. Thoughts?
Look, I'd rather have them with us than at my back, to be completely honest. But honestly, I'm fine either way. And at this point, I think Velendar will have finished getting ready.
Yeah.
We need to make this decision quickly. I think it's time to leave. And we'll retrieve his dagger.
Okay, so not in any meaningful way. Okay. And Scarlet grabs her bag and goes downstairs, leaving you guys in the room.
This is awkward.
All right.
You do so quite easily, Scarlet, as you head downstairs.
How
Astrid
far away is Scarlet before she leaves?
Scarlet, how quickly are you retreating from this room?
Oh, she's not power walking, but she has her mind.
With purpose. Yeah.
If it's
Yeah,
possible.
so
Scarlet, before you leave, do you not think this is not something you should discuss with the group?
Oh, I'm totally indifferent. Like, you guys make the decision.
I'm jolly good.
These are your friends. I feel like there's more weight in this on you than it is on us.
Yeah, and they're great travelling companions. But, I've never travelled with Tybella before, so...
And how do you feel about them?
About my friends.
Tybella?
Oh, she's a bitch. I said that downstairs.
Bitch enough to not join us, or just a bitch? There's a difference.
Well, I think it's more that, it may not have been a meaningful threat, but the person who the not meaningful threat was directed at should probably be the one who makes the decision, given...
I guess as a reflection, you know the other two better than the three of us.
Yeah.
If she was intolerable, do you think that they would travel with her? Unless there was something to gain from it?
I think there would be something to gain from it for them to travel with her.
So you don't trust her?
I mean, it depends on what the benefit is. I mean, the benefit for me travelling with them was the other skills I could provide. It had nothing to do with, Yeah, I don't... I think that, she would be a bonus with regards to the type of work they carry out.
I'm sorry to pry, but do we remember why we're here? There could be some very bad ramifications to us if we're seen to betray the capital.
Well, no, I think we're fine. I think we just lie our way through most things, and whatever disasters happen next. So, if we're all done, I'm just going to randomly invite them in the next 10 minutes. If they can make it, great. If not, well, adios, and on to the next adventure.
I'll head down now and I can, ask them if that's what you guys want.
Yeah, delightful.
Yeah.
All right.
So Scarlet will head down the stairs. Where is everyone downstairs sitting now?
where you left them, Jonan is back at the table, and Astrid and Tybella are still at the bar. They don't seem to be having deep conversation. They just kind of seem to be chatting amongst themselves. You can't really determine about what.
So Scarlet will go over to Jonan.
Mm-hmm.
You trust me, don't you, Jonan? You trust that I'm not going to take things too far.
Jonan looks at you and says, "Travelled with you for months on end. I have no reason not to."
Good. And she'll take a lariat that she was wearing around her neck and undo it, and have a thing in each hand, and walk up to Tybella and put it around her throat while lifting her knee into Tybella's back and just pull backwards.
Yeah, cool.
And she will lean into Tybella's ear, and she
Are
will
you
say,
trying to just clarify? Are you trying to choke her out, or are you just trying to?
no,
threaten her?
just restrain her and make my
Okay.
presence known, shall we say.
Yeah.
People who travel with me are under my protection. If you threaten them again, you will wear your punishment in the currency of scars on your face. And the garrote will start glowing.
What are you doing at this point?
Velendar will just be like at the bottom of the stairs, leaning against like a banister.
So you've all
Uh,
followed behind
Oh,
Scarlet?
yeah. I think the conversation will probably happen on the way down the stairs, right? And I think Velendar will just kind of look over at the two and just give like a little shrug.
I would imagine I would still be in the room. I probably might be outside.
Yeah, I kind of felt Marcus and Sol were probably just kind of doing all the clean up, and Velendar, being his normal kind of like fast self, was out the room. They're kind of picking up the bags while this kind of happened. It's like, and so Marcus has missed this piece.
And Scarlet will just be like, "Are we clear?"
Quickly, sorry. Marcus and Sol, you're just staying in the room?
So again, the way I read this is kind of Scarlet just moved quite swiftly out the room, not running, but kind of
and you
with
two,
purpose.
yeah.
And we were just, Marcus was just kind of picking up stuff. He was about to say something to Belinda, but Belinda left the room as per normal. He's like, and he just kind of looks at Stroll, kind of shrugs at Sol, and then just starts picking up some bits and pieces and walking out the room slowly, not expecting what Scarlet's just done to have occurred. So I imagine we're on the landing.
I'd be in a similar process, just checking my bandoliers, backpacks, and stuff, making sure I've got my stuff that I need, which I might come to in a moment. And yeah, I wouldn't have.
Trying to visualize where everyone is at this.
So
specific
put us upstairs in the landing, yeah? So we're
Yeah,
upstairs in the
oh.
landing.
So you are all like, you all see this happen, like this, and you might not all see it happen from the beginning.
Sure.
Promethean, you or Velendar, sorry, you certainly see it from the moment that like she moves away from Jonan to Tybella. You see all of this unfold. Marcus and Sol, you mosey on out. You're not in any form of like rush. You see this happen as the lariat essentially goes around the throat. So you see it straight from like the throat. You can't hear what she's saying. Velendar, you may make a perception check should you desire to see if you hear what is being said. In the meantime, Scarlet, can I get you to roll a wisdom save for me, please?
13 on perception.
13 on perception.
Well, she's not really hiding it. She's just not yelling it.
If it's whispered, probably won't hear that. I don't think. I imagine it's a distance.
Yeah. You hear a pointedness almost to Scarlet's words, but you don't hear what the words are.
The shrug will still happen for sure, just at the situation rather than anything specifically said.
You will see that effectively the garrote is starting to glow. You will see that. The wisdom saving throw is 15.
You whisper these words in Tybella's ear, and you hear for a moment a very humorless laugh, not in a threatening way, but in a I am not amused by this scenario way. And you hear Tybella say, there, Scarlet, calm down. And you feel an overwhelming calm take over your body. In fact, now when you look at Tybella, you consider her a friend and an ally. Just for a moment.
I didn't see that until after I rolled.
Still there.
Yeah, she'll let the garrote drop and it will stop glowing.
Wasn't so difficult now, was it? She looks at you and she takes a step back and you feel the calm immediately dissipate. You don't know too much about magic, but you do know enough to feel like that this effect should have lasted longer. it does feel like this effect was dropped from you. And she looks at you and she says, if you have a problem, we can simply discuss it. Are you ready to have a conversation?
I tried to have one before. You wouldn't have it.
It is not up to me to tell you everything that happens after you fall asleep. That's not your business. That's between me and the person I was talking to.
The person she was talking to would probably sidle up to the conversation at that point and just put a hand on Scarlet's shoulder, just like nothing aggressive, just a supportive presence. Speaking of business, we have some to attend to, and we're certainly planning to leave. Should you and your two friends wish to join, that's entirely up to you. Scarlet, I'm sure if these three are to be our travelling companions, let's not make our parlance based in violence, shall we?
And so as she realizes if in any way I feel like she's threatening people, I'll fucking kill her.
You see a look of concern momentarily cross Astrid's face, who is standing off to the side looking at this. And there is a visible, uncomfortable feeling to her about this situation as she hands off a small pouch of what you can only assume is currency to Tybella. And Tybella pockets it, and she looks at Astrid, gives Jonan a nod, and then looks at you and says, "It seems my business is done, but thank you for the offer." And without saying another word, she makes her leave through the front door of the Lazy Trout.
Toodaloo.
No response whatsoever. Astrid looks at you both, then looks at your companions at the top of the stairs on the landing, and says, "Not exactly how I expected to spend this morning, but entertaining, I guess, is the word I would use."
I told Jonan I wouldn't take it too far, it's fine.
Jonan, you can see, is just sitting there like, and he dusts himself off and he gathers his things and he says, "Okay, I assume you will be traveling alone, and if that is what you want, then great. Scarlet, if I..."
Well, you guys can travel with us, I just didn't like her.
You see a visible, shift in Astrid, and she says, "Tybella is someone that I do trust, and I understand she is pointed and that she comes across in a way, but she is good-hearted. There's something to be said about getting to know someone. Should you have not been traveling with your companions, for example, Scarlet, you all likely would have killed myself and my brother, am I right? Or attempted to, at the very least."
Well, I can't say whether or not they would have tried, but I mean, until we knew it was you, yeah, we probably would have.
I
Considering
absolutely
the-
would have tried, yes.
I was going to say, considering the 1v1 you and I had, Velendar, I think you would have tried to kill me. Which I can appreciate. My point being, Your influence, Scarlet, having known us and built a relationship with us, is the reason that likely they didn't. Tybella is that for me. I would ask that you don't. She's someone I trust quite dearly.
As long as she's not threatening us, then that's fine. But if she threatens us, then obviously your trust would have been misplaced.
Noted.
My actions were a warning against what I perceived from my companions to be unacceptable, a little bit more than pointed.
Scarlet, my dear, if I consider something unacceptable, trust me that I'll tell you. I think you went a little too far.
Right, having travelled with you, and after last night, I don't think that there's much that you would consider unacceptable.
That's perhaps true nonetheless. There was no need for that little display of whatever it was.
Of putting her in her place when it came to how she interacted with people. That's just how I am.
How you are may have made me an enemy. Someone who wasn't necessarily prior. So perhaps next time, before seeking out retribution for imagined ills, ask the person that you think has received them before doing so.
I don't know if it was retribution, but I mean, you've seen me. I don't. Sometimes I act before I think things through.
Clearly.
As you would have seen the first time we met, and I punched someone in the butt. Sometimes that's what happens.
I assure you, self-control is a valuable skill to learn.
And I have a lot more self-control than I used to.
I'm very glad to hear. For now, I'm going to go check on the lizard in the cart. And I'll meet you all out there when you're ready to get going. And Velendar will head out.
Yeah, you head out. Easily, no one stops you. Mrs. Trout does give you like a wave as you leave. Marcus and Sol, what are you two doing? You are both standing on the landing, and you have watched this all unfold.
And Marcus has been writing it all down.
Well, I've seen what's happened.
Yeah.
I've seen the ropey throat check.
Yeah. The ropey throat check.
Ropey throat check.
Ropey.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. I'll look to Marcus with a little bit of concern. And if I see him writing stuff down, if I can, I don't know how good my 20/20 vision is, but I hope it's. How does that look?
The writing.
And how does Marcus look actually?
Marcus has got he's almost like transcribing down the scene. So there's like a little.
It's a memoir.
It's more like trying to write a scene play.
Evidence is what it is.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's there, but I've just drawn little figures from it because there seems to be an awful lot of drama, and then there's kind of like directives going between the two parts of it.
So Sol is standing over Marcus's shoulder and just doing that. I think this adjective should be this, or thinking he's making it better.
Yeah, I think maybe I'll just look in concern, and that's about it. I'll be interested to check that out later.
Yep.
See what I saw checked out the same way. Awkward, Marcus?
No. Well, this is traveling companions, and I think we're learning a lot about each other, and it's it's going to make the nights a lot more interesting. I would say there's going to be a
I
lot
don't
more looking. I feel there. Mrs. Trout, a delight. Your place is fantastic. I will write rave reviews about the food, and the
She's
song.
nodding along, like, thankfully, as you're saying that.
Yes, it's great things. Can we get some, food to go? Because all this wonderful breakfast stuff, can we take some with us? Have we paid for that?
Oh, well, funny you say that. I still have a ton of those pastries if you'd like to take them.
Are you speaking of the butt buns?
The
No.
The
Well,
But
they didn't tell me what they were called. He just placed them in a carton.
Yes,
I
they're
think-
called ascenders buns. But we just need more of them.
Ah, well, feel free. Help yourself to the ascendus buns.
I think you should deconstruct these and keep it to yourself. But one thing that I would ask for is there a decent alchemist or regular that might be able to provide me with some herbs?
Goodness. On this edge of the border of Kaivala,
Within this town.
just over the border of Maluhia, you will find plenty there. You would have to delve far deeper into Kaivala to find one.
That's fine. What I have should suffice. Marcus, is there anything that you need?
Just the wind in my hair at this point in time. I think it's time to move on, and I need to find where Velendar's gone because it's he's off doing something dramatic. One should imagine.
Is
Velendar.
Velendar and Scarlet in the same space as us, or they've left? I know
Velendar
Velendar
has
went.
left.
Yeah.
Velendar, speaking of, as you make your way out to the cart, it's well attended to. It actually looks like someone's like wiped it down, given it a bit of a clean for you. And it is exactly as you left it. As you look into the back of the cart, you see Grummy has a little blanket over him. He is breathing, and he is making a light snoring noise.
Well, okay, excellent. Velendar will just make a mental note that the poison is immediately deadly.
Yeah, it's now been since he took since he drank whatever he drank or ate whatever he ate. One of the berries. It's been about a day and a half, nearly 2.
Didn't Sol give him like some form of antidote to ease it back?
I believe he tried. He certainly tried.
I don't think I was successful, actually. Yeah. Good memory, though. If Marcus is still next to me,
Yep.
and I'll whisper to him. I'm sure there's a valid reason for what we just saw. You need to make me a self check, and I'm pretty sure he saw the same thing in reference.
Yes, I would say, dear boy, that there's more than meets the eye between the two. Scarlet is a lot more complicated, and Velendar is enigma on top of enigma at this point in time. I'm fascinated to know what happened and what he'll share more with. But let's find out.
I'll nod at Marcus and kind of like pull on my tunic just to straighten up and get ready. All right then, tally ho. She ready for this?
Let's
Ready?
go. The open road and possible adventure.
And
Yeah.
gather up. And let's go.
Are you doing anything before you join everyone outside? Keeping in mind that Astron and Jonan are still in this establishment.
Can I say something on the way out?
Absolutely.
So stop at the table and say,
Fireball.
dance
Thank you,
macabre.
everyone, and that was the end of the campaign.
Yeah, finger of death all over again. Yes, I didn't ask how big the room was. Fireball. Again, I'm not sure how this is passed, but obviously you're close friends of Scarlet, and if you'd like to join us, then the offer is always there. I realize Tybella said many things about you last night. Well, not many, but enough to say that there's a relationship there. But I wouldn't want to put that at strain. But come along. Why not? Or at least come and meet us.
Which one of the twins are you speaking to, sorry?
I'm going to speak to Astrid because she seems to be more because the brother's kind of gone back into being little brother rather than the leader, so it's kind of like Astrid at this point in time. Just kind of look at her.
Yeah, cool. She will look at you and she will say, I would like to join you. I don't want to make this journey more difficult or awkward. However, truly, when it was presented to us what you were all potentially heading towards, the interest I had was purely selfish, not in aid of any of you. And should you accept that, then we will gladly come along. However, I will also know when I've overstayed my welcome.
Come along. I mean, what could possibly go wrong? That hasn't just transpired in the last, 10 minutes.
You raise a good point. Sure, we will come along.
See you shortly. We're getting ready outside. I've just got to find Velendar. He disappears quite frequently.
Speaking of Velendar, you are out here by yourself. You're kind of waiting for everyone to join you, and you hear a cough and a splutter from Romy, who begins to shift, and you see him look around with, as his eyes open, bright red, like bloodshot eyes, and he looks incredibly disoriented, and he looks at you, and he stares at you for a moment, then he lets out this scream that goes for like 5 seconds, and then he stops himself. He just stays silent. He looks at you.
Grommy, was it?
I'm Grommy.
You are? Grommy, you ate something that you shouldn't have. I should warn you. I wouldn't take anything from any of my possessions, no matter how tasty it looks again. Do you understand?
Grommy has learned.
Good.
You
Well,
see him like hold his magical stick really close to his body.
magical stick plus one.
Yeah, he's plus one magical stick. He holds onto it, and he sits up in the cart, and he just kind of sits there. And he has a slight like rock, backwards and forwards.
I think we'll just get off of Grommy some water.
Good
It
job.
barely even like gets halfway to him, and he just like with one hand still holding the stick in the other, he just snatches it and starts. You hear him gulping the water down.
Get some rest. We'll be on our way shortly.
Where are we?
Outside a little place called the Lazy Trout.
Where?
We're in Tybella. You know Tybella.
Grommy got turned away from the border in Tybella.
Not this time.
Grommy is free. And you see like this weird excitement in his eyes as he like attempts to stand, but he just falls straight back. Like a small child that's learning to walk for the first time and just can't and falls over. He like stands and then he just hits the deck.
Free, but not quite ready to take advantage of that freedom, perhaps. You should rest. You've done yourself a mischief, little one.
Where are we going next?
We're heading south. West.
Yes, that's correct.
That is, yeah.
We're going on a grand adventure, Grommy. Where would you like to go?
Grommy wants to see the world.
Excellent. We're going into the world, Grommy.
Okay. Then you just see him close his eyes and he falls asleep immediately. Like, literally just like snoring straight away.
Yeah, Belinda's just gonna kick back and chill in the back of the car then.
Marcus, was your intention to make your way out to Velendar before the rest of the party? To get a moment alone with Velendar? Or to...
Yeah, again, it was to check on well, vaguely check on him because he's a big boy and can do that, but just make sure he's not up to any extra mischief in the first place. So get out and then just check on the thing, but yeah, just in case he's off to something else, because and then
He's a sneaky little boy.
yeah, just see that the Velendar hasn't got himself up to anything extra, because although Velendar seems to have been the sensible one for a moment, which is a bit confusing.
Yeah, as you walk outside, you see Grommy is in a different position, but still asleep. And you see Velendar just kind of hanging around, I guess, waiting for you all.
Okay. Jump up on the cart, and the twins will most likely be joining us to make this more an interesting trip. They still feel quite highly towards Tybella. I'm curious how we're going to navigate this with Scarlet. Let's find out, shall we?
Let's.
Scarlet, are you heading out?
Yep.
As you head out, Jonan walks by your side. He looks, pretty jovial to be getting out of this place and back onto the road. Astrid also walks with you a step or so behind. Nothing unusual. As the three of you make your way out, Soul also follows behind you, and you are all at the cart. Is there anything you wish to do before you hit the road, Jack?
And then you come back.
I mean, you can come back. That's part of the game. But
Is this a town, or is it basically a tavern and a couple of houses?
it's kind of like Border Town, and like realistically, in Border Town, there's like this tavern, a couple of homes, like some places to pick up food, and a couple of travel supplies, but not everything that you could use to sustain a traveler's life. You can't go find weapons or like an apothecary or anything like that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the bartender.
Very basic supplies. This is stopover bill, essentially.
Yeah. In which case,
This is the last fuel station for like 100 kilometers on the highway.
And I've seen Grommy's awake, yeah?
He's not awake. He has gone back to sleep, but he is in a completely different position, and you do see him like clutching at the stick.
I'd let him rest. Oh,
Yeah,
what
great.
might be a bit heavier on the cart and get ready for the day's journey.
Remembering that this cart is not the greatest cart in the world, who will be sitting up front to lead the cart? Okay, Marcus. And who will be sitting inside the cart?
Oh, Valenda's cart interior all the way.
Yeah, cool. Is anyone riding the horse?
I'll no. If Scarlet's like, no, I'm not doing it, I'll take the reins of the horse.
Yeah, great. And you do so quite easily. So it's basically like Sol is riding the horse, Marcus is leading the horse ridden by Sol, and
Left,
Scarlet-
left, right a bit, left a bit, right to left.
Tugging on the reins while I sit on it.
Yeah. Because you picked a small cart. Scarlet, Velendar, you are both sitting in the cart with Grommy.
Is there someone in the town to upgrade our car?
No.
Okay, alright.
No. And
Have like a
you
side saddle on it.
yeah, you can if you want.
I don't think
You
that's
let
like,
the person with minus boo into their intelligence roll.
yeah.
Or not. And you guys hit the road towards Maluhia. You are about a day or so out. Is there anything that anyone wishes to prepare or do whilst on the road?
I'll probably look through my book that I was given for herbalism and alchemical stuff and just try and figure out any healing things that I might be able to learn if I've got a long period of downtime.
Yeah, cool.
Antidotes,
Through,
whatever it might be.
through reading this book, can you make an intelligence roll for me? Thank you.
Ooh. 13 and a 5 is 18.
13 and a 5 is 18. You learn. You're flipping through this book. You're reading through about different berries, herbs, like antidotes in general. You're trying to piece together kind of everything that you've learned, but also everything that you're reading in front of you. And it takes you some time, but you do eventually learn how to curate a potion of poison antidote, essentially. So you are able to cure the poison condition and heal for 1d4 healing. And I'll send you the ingredients that you will need to complete that potion after the session, if that is okay.
No. Yeah, that's great. Thank
Well,
you.
Fuck you.
Yes.
But you do learn this. You also start to learn a little bit more about necrotic based activity south in Damada. That there is in the south side a history or a suspected rumored history of necrotic energy. You don't know too much because really this is scrawlings and it is assumptions. It doesn't feel like there is too much meat to the facts.
Is there familiarity between where I'm from the south, and what I've just understood, or am I going down
Feels like it feels like something you might have heard in a passing conversation, but nothing cement.
nothing concrete? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does
cool.
anyone else want to prepare or do anything in this time that you have to travel?
What kind of time frame are we talking for this traveling period?
Like a day. Like
Like-
you will have to long rest.
Yeah, okay. I think it's
You will essentially long rest, but then have like 4 hours before
Yeah.
you cross the border.
Yeah, okay. I think at some point Velendar will try and have as subtle as possible a conversation with Jonan as he can.
Okay. Jonan is actually also sitting within the cart. Astrid is sitting on top of it.
Oh, excellent. Jonan, that little pouch of gold that your sister threw to Tybella. What was that for exactly?
For her assistance in the off-season's earning.
Very well.
Rog
Okay.
got one too, as you would notice. He's not with us, so.
So I didn't see Rog acquire any payment of any kind.
No, I think that was while you were still asleep after
We
your
don't.
evening with my sister.
We don't need to discuss that. How did you put up with the snoring? Speaking of Rog.
Sleep very deeply, which is to my benefit and no one else's.
Seems like good advice.
Yeah, I recommend if you have like half a short glass of whiskey before you go to bed, it does tend to help you sleep.
I don't really sleep, Jonan. It's not really a thing among my kind. Sleep of a kind, more of a, let's call it meditation, trance, whatever you wish to call it. Different mechanics, you see.
Elves and how they do that. I mean, Tybella was one, so.
Indeed, she was.
Do you have any other questions for me, or
That was all.
are you suspicious?
Of?
Us.
Not especially more than I'm suspicious of everyone else.
Good to know. I don't have the energy to be someone worthy of suspicion.
I get that impression. But you do seem perfectly competent, which is not nothing.
Yeah, if you need me to gut something, I usually can.
I'll keep that in mind.
Good to know. And he kind of goes back to his scribbling in a book.
How dare you? Can I see what he's scribbling?
You can certainly make a perception check. He's kind of sitting with like one knee. He's resting the book on the knee, and he's just scribbling within it.
For perception, that will be a 7.
A 7. You can't really. He's writing in like really slanted cursive. And he's writing really fast. Like as you look at it, it is very sloped, and it almost looks like multiple signatures within a book. But you do manage to make out the sentence. It felt strange, and that's all it says. And you get the sense that this is not necessarily a shopping list or a letter or anything like that. It feels like you're kind of reading something personal that you shouldn't be reading.
Shouldn't be. Ha! You poor-
Huh.
Okay, cool. Noted. That's all.
Scarlet, are you doing anything during this time?
Only her usual thing.
Good. Do you need?
As far as she's concerned, she said her piece and that was the end of it.
Yeah, cool. So you're kind of perched within the cart. Every now and again, sitting by Grommy, he does make a loud, like, one-off snorting noise. And whenever he does, he almost wakes himself up again, but then grips the stick tighter and goes straight back to sleep. And both of you would notice that.
Scarlet will make sure that he's got like a pillow underneath him and stuff like that. And just
Yeah.
make sure he's comfortable.
Which he seems to, like, the second it's there, like, he nuzzles into it.
Oh, Grommy.
Marcus, are you doing anything during this time?
I'm curious about Astrid and
You're muted.
I
Look
know.
at your shirt.
Yeah, we're down.
You're still on mute. There you go.
purposely doing it to annoy myself. Astrid, is she doing anything? So I want to keep an eye on Astrid and where she's looking to see what she's up to. Is she just casually just taking it in, or is she tracking anything in particular?
She does seem to be continuously, and she does take breaks, like she'll, pull out a snack or something like that. But she does seem to continuously be, as you guys are riding through, she is constantly scanning the entire horizon and looking.
So, Marcus is going to see if I can catch her in that kind of distracted. When somebody's doing something else, kind of actively. See if I can get. I'm just kind of interested about where she came from, what she did, where her brother was born, what they're like. I'm just trying to get a sense of her in this 8-hour journey, right? And it's more kind of casual bits. If she starts brushing him off, he will still continue the kind of conversation on. But it is that kind of like almost background soundtrack that you have when someone's driving and just asking like what appears to be relatively named questions. But I'm looking for her background, where she came from, what her and her brother's kind of family was, what they did, what they enjoy. I'm just trying to get a sense of her in this journey.
You would learn that they are originally from Maluhia.
Okay.
That she was born first, but they are twins.
Yep.
And that when she says that she was born first, everyone hydrate please and check your posture. Thank you, Fran. When she mentions to you that she was born first, you see like a sense of pride in that. She remind me of the other questions that you were trying to learn from her.
Basically, where was she from, and what was the family? What was the family like that they came from?
Like the dynamic.
Yeah.
You get the sense that when you ask about her family, there is no weirdly in a game of Dungeons and Dragons, you don't sense any trauma from her upbringing. I know, crazy. She does mention that her parents are no longer around anymore. And there is a minor sense of sadness to that, but it doesn't feel like deep rooted in tragedy or anything like that. You do learn from her that after her parents passed is when they started to move around a bit, and the time that they have frequented, the places they have frequented most is their home Maluhia, particularly in the main city of Maluhia. They have also spent time in Kaivala more recently, but not for the longest period of time. That's just their most kind of recent venture. The other place that they have spent some time in but didn't take a liking to as much is Sadiva, and you can sense that like the second they mention Sadiva, you feel like a little bit of disdain from her voice.
And the last thing is why she wants to take a risk on doing the drugs. Is it a thrill thing? She said that, but I want to dig in. Marcus wants to dig into that a little bit deeper to see if, because the brothers seem to be a no, but she seemed to be, yeah, bring it type thing. Just to get an understanding of why she wants to imbibe this substance and try it. Is she the thrill seeker in the twins? Is she the devil may care?
She will address you in this moment, and she will say, "It's interesting because when we were growing up, you wouldn't imagine now looking at him, but Jonan was the thrill seeker. He was the person that kind of led the two of us. He had far more confidence than I did. He led me, and then as we got older, he got more scared, particularly after our parents passed, more sheltered. But we both always had a taste for adventure. And I'm more after my parents passed because as far as I'm concerned, life is to be lived. And if death is approached or even tasted in the time that you live, then that's just part of the experience. Wish to not live, I don't wish to not exist, but that's all part of the experience. And if I play with that idea, then is that not the ultimate thrill? Because it might be the last. So worth noting, should I taste this berry and nothing but the rumors occur, then I'm a businesswoman and I see the opportunity to make my own profit from spreading it further. And if you don't align with that, I understand, but we all have to make some gold here and there.
When you get time and a moment that's probably not on this rather rickety and Soul's not on there, you should spend some time with Soul. He's more a man of and I don't know why Soul's riding the horse, but let's just leave him doing that thing. It's the chaps he wears. It just gives him an extra shine. You should probably talk to Soul. He understands more about the berries than he gives on, and his rather forthright approach is more of an explorer of these experiences in a different way. Just as an interesting bit. So don't take him as too of a prickly outside. I think you might learn something.
I don't. I approach most things with an open mind. The opportunity just was not there last evening.
Try
But the
and find out.
opportunities I did have were quite thrilling. Thank you for asking.
Thanks for sharing.
What about you, Marcus? You have all of these questions, but I don't see anyone questioning you. Where are you from?
Oh, look, we're here.
She looks and she's like, oh, look, we're not.
It's a very, very simple story. And One I know many times, and one I'll share with you over a proper drink when we're not bouncing. Marcus kind of stops to look at someone and says, left. Left, no, your other left. When we're not bouncing around, there's an awful lot of jiggling here, and again, I wasn't wearing the right clothing for this jiggling, and it's getting a little bit, kind of like raw.
You don't like
I
to
have a fault as
speak
well.
about yourself, do you?
Under the right circumstances, yes. But at the moment, I'm here to learn more about what's going on in this fascinating world we're living.
And who's to say I'm not here to learn also?
You're much more aware of your surroundings than others I've met. What made you that extra bit more interested?
It's the will to survive.
There's more than that, isn't there?
Oh, look at that. We're here. And you look around and you are not here.
Yes. To the next drink.
So will look at me like,
Right, soul. Right. Right, soul. Right.
As you'll continue making your way, you go from quite mountainous terrain and rocky path to eventually you get to softer grass, and you do feel the temperature over time begin to rise slightly. It's not hot or out of control, but it does feel like it is getting to a slightly warmer climate. There is this breeze that picks up, and you can just smell hints of different flowers and fruits nearby as you approach the border to Maluhia. As you do, as always, with Kaivala's border, there is a large wall. And you can see that just off into the distance as the sun begins to drop beyond the horizon. And as you look at the wall in the distance, you feel as though there is only a few hours of travel the next day that you would have to face, but you watch as the horse begins to tire and slow, and you do get to a point where this would be your resting place. You find a just right off the track, a place that does feel slightly secluded, doesn't look too worn or anything like that. And you begin to bed down for the night and prepare for a long rest. Last calls for anything you would like to prepare.
I think I would be pretty good where I'm at after learning the two things that I've done and riding the horse. As adventurous as it's been and the overhearing that I've had, I'll probably just get everything ready that I need to do. I'm not too interested in, not that it isn't interesting, but I just want to pump out another day and get on with the adventure.
Cool.
Is probably what you're seeing Sol do.
At some point when they are on their own or off to the side, Scarlet will talk with Jonan. Are you worried about Antara? I mean, because this is the first time I've had a hiatus with this.
It's not normal, but it's not unheard of.
So don't worry at this point.
Not yet.
You don't have to go find
Not yet.
Okay.
I think Antara is incredibly capable, and
Yes.
he does occasionally drop off when he needs to.
And he also knows how to look for talent, so he can find people where he is.
He does.
You know, I feel like I owe him somewhat.
He likes to make us feel that way.
Yes, and there is use to him for us feeling that way, but at the same time, he didn't manipulate those feelings in me. They are genuine. based
I'm
on
not.
what
I'm not saying that he did. I'm just saying he likes to make us feel like we need him and we are him, but I think he needs us more. Because without us, he doesn't have a business.
It's like any parent. They like to feel like they're the ones that all the kids need, but when the kids are growing up, who needs who more?
My point is just remember that we are more, if not equally important.
True. Apparently, I've got some shit to figure out.
I don't envy you.
I don't even know how to figure it out. Like, fucking wings.
Yeah, I don't have advice for you.
Seriously.
Unfortunately, I have not encountered that myself.
Does it mean I'm not human? Does it mean I'm a freak?
I think it means that your parents have some explaining to do.
Well, are they really my parents? I mean, they don't have problems. I mean, as far as I know, they are.
Who's to say that it's racial? It could be a gift, a curse.
A curse. So I get to be a curse winged freak.
That's not what I'm saying. It's a suggestion.
I just don't even know how to start figuring it out.
Think. Don't go out of your way. Just learn. Experience it. You'll learn that way best.
Yeah. I mean, we've got other stuff to do anyway, so.
And if all else fails, talk to your parents. I dare say that they would know more than they let on.
Yeah, but that also means going back home. I mean, I'm sure Dad.
Take it for granted. You'll hate them now, but one day they will die.
I don't hate them. I love them. I just dislike them.
That's half the point of being someone's child.
Yeah.
The other is to impress them.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I don't do that. I
You don't
would
know.
impress my family if I was the classic marriageable girl for improving the prosperity of their business as opposed to.
They've already got someone, right? They've got your sister.
Yeah.
So they don't need you to do that anymore. They've found someone to fill that role.
I'm just not the proper lady that they wanted.
Then fuck them.
Yeah, which is exactly why I left home. But, you know, at this stage it looks like I've got to go back at some point.
Question for you, Tammy. Are you trying to have this conversation away from everyone so that they don't hear?
The entire stuff would have been the rest of it. She wouldn't really care about. She's fairly open with that sort of shit.
Yeah. And Yeah, I think that's the conversations I've had so far. Sorry, I forgot to ask that at the start of this. Cool. So I guess anyone that wants to hear would have heard the parts that were not about Antara. At the end of the day, Scarlet, something I've learned is that family, it is important for some time, but it's not the end all and be all of everything.
Well,
You make your own destiny in your own life, and you don't need a family to dictate that. Certainly a parent.
I think one of the main things I've learned in the past 12 months is you choose your family.
That I agree with.
But at some point, I think if I want to figure out what's going on, I'm going to have to go home.
I would say we all have to, but some of us don't have one anymore. Woe is me.
Well, I mean, you can always come home with me and, really disappoint my father further in who I'm hanging out with. I'm sure he will.
If you ever need a lie about being a proper lady with a man, I would be happy to play that role.
And yet at the same time, part of me wants to put in his face what I'm like now.
It also works, but I will leave that up to you.
True. Who's on first watch?
Jonan looks out and he goes, "First watch, anyone?" I guess it's me then. Sure, Marcus, you're welcome to join myself.
Hey, I can help this out.
3 of us for first watch. If that's the case, the 2 of you can take it and I will have a rest.
I was going to say, 2-2-2.
Hmm?
Shouldn't it be 2-2-2?
There will only be 2 watches needed for this. So Sol and Marcus, you will take first watch.
I feel like this has happened a couple of times.
Fabulous.
Can I get you both to roll a perception check, please?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow. And what did you get, Marcus?
17.
Okay. Someone is holding up the team.
Me.
Yeah.
This guy.
Every now and again, you hear the horse make one of those like sounds. But aside from
It's
that,
just me.
yeah, or it's you. The night passes nicely. The temperature does drop as the sun does dip further down, and it does get only slightly cool, but you can still smell all of those florals on the air even throughout the night, and the stars here are very bright as you look up in the sky. But aside from that, your night passes easily. And
Sarah?
huh?
Hey, me and Marcus are together, yeah?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I saw you scribing something down. Is everyone else asleep, or?
When you two
Unless
watch, yeah.
stated otherwise, yes.
Yeah. It's
I
one.
saw you scribing from the table.
Yes.
What did you think?
There's a very strange dynamic here. I don't know Scarlet well enough, and you might do. This circus that they travel with. I've yet to touch on it. I'm not sure if it is a legal circus or some sort of illegal circus from the way that they've. It's a very strange group of people, and I don't know if you've noticed, but they're all a remarkably attractive group here. So it's circus performers themselves tend to be.
Funny that.
very, very, very different in size and scale. But this group seemed to be. I'm not sure I understand the circus, and I'm not sure I won't know them well enough to ask that question yet. But I'm going to get there at some stage, and I'm just trying to work out the dynamic, the twins themselves, and whatever happened last night. Is up to them. But I can't work out if this is the dynamic between that. Rog seemed a very simple orc, and was led by Tybella himself. But what Tybella had a very clear set of objectives, but I couldn't divine what they were. The conversation she had with Velendar in the first place. There's questions.
Yeah, Scarlet seems innocent enough. However, what we saw at the base of the tavern, the strangulation, it's a little bit complicated to me. I wish to know what the history is. Or is it something that's
I mean, the term "wear your heart on your sleeve." I think that there's a certain bit where you kind of, if she believes that a line's being crossed, she'll cross that line to uncross it for someone else, which I understand. Velendar, there's a different level of directness to him so far that I've seen, but yeah, I think. Again, there's I think, but I'd like to know a little further rather than that. But it's complicated, and life is complicated. It's messy too, and I love the mess. I mean, it literally is. And I'm curious why Grimmy has stopped breathing in his sleep. It's very strange. He was here a moment, and then it was almost like he's stuffed into a pillow. But there's a level of. There's a level of intrigue here that I'm fascinated too. And I don't know if you noticed that the map's got a whole bunch of details on it about the mines, so people know much about what's happening next. So I, for one, am fascinated to see where this goes. And I think in the next 2 days, we'll see how we as a group act together. And how some of these very attractive people interact with each other.
Do you think I'm safe because I'm not attractive?
So you put up a defensive shell at the moment. I think you need to make yourself more available. Be less someone that is overly analytical, and occasionally just be you.
This conversation is too much for me tonight.
Do you need a hug, Sol?
I'm sorry, I'm dragging you into this.
Do you need a hug?
Perhaps before we go to bed. No? Yeah, conversation over.
Great.
Do we end with a hug?
Yeah. Bring it in, Sol. Bring it in before we next.
I'm still a little bit jealous.
As the 4 hours of watch ends, you embrace each other. It's a meaningful.
We get an advantage for our perception checks afterwards.
No. That's a meaningful, warm hug. No. You literally leveled up like 1 session ago. Like, chill, my guys.
It was a year ago, basically. So I think it's reasonable. It's a level up hug.
So you both give each other a non-level up cuddle. And you go to wake the next watch. That is likely just going to be Scarlet and Velendar.
Yes.
I was
So
going to
you
say
two are.
Scarlet, but I
Oh. Oh. fist bump.
You actually,
Marcus
at
on the
this
way out.
point, you have a cuddle, you have a fist bump, and you go to bed. Velendar, at this point, you are actually already fully rested as someone that only needs to meditate. And you are awoken as a you, Scarlet, by Sol and Marcus, you know, gently giving you a little shake. You get the sense that they've hugged recently. You don't know why, but
It's mellowness.
I thought that crossed your mind.
Excellent.
And as you begin your watch, I'll get you both to make a perception check.
Sure.
Because she's so good at anything but herself.
It's a 6.
That fall on the floor.
It's all on you,
15.
Scarlet.
15
Okay.
seems to be the number of the night.
You are both sitting there on watch, and the only thing you see is what can only be described as potential sleepwalking from Grommy. As he tries to stand with his blankie wrapped around him really tight, and he makes his way towards the opening of the cart and attempts to hop down. He looks dead asleep.
Scarlet will go over and it's like a whole dealing with a child that's walking while they're half asleep. Sort of like, no, we're going to go back to bed now. We're going to go back to bed. And coax him back into the cart to lie back down.
He's light snore has a whistle to it now, as he cuddles into that pillow that you popped under his head, and he goes straight back to sleep. Is there anything else you wish to do on your watch?
No, nothing specific.
Cool. If that's okay, Marcus, chill, bruh. If that's the case, your watch goes by uneventfully, and you both see as the sun begins to rise over the horizon, and you are all long rested, not leveled up, but long rested.
No, give us a
I
level.
know.
A level a day.
No. You gather your things together. Astrid and Jonan look well rested also. And they gather their things together, and you make your way off towards the border of Maluhia on the cart. And as you venture throughout, you see the wall of Kaivala getting closer and closer, to the point where eventually, after only a couple of hours, you pass it. And it's a really stark contrast, because when you were entering and you were asked for paperwork and all of these different things, there are guards standing on this border and they are waving you goodbye, and they look quite happy to do so and jovial as you cross the border to Maluhia. And that's where we're going to end our session tonight. Yay!
Region unlocked.
Yeah. You've now travelled across the realms.
Level 10 to 20.
Hey,
that level like?
thank you so much. No. No, you just got one.
Just a little bit.
No.
Yeah, 2024. One little pip.
Nope. Hey, thank you so much for tonight, guys. I know it was a bit of a slog at the start trying to get the technology working. So thank you to anyone who watched as well. I really appreciate it. Other than that, we're gonna steal a leaf out of the Lorites book, and we're gonna go around and talk about our favorite moments and why.
Oh, that leaf is
starting-
so stolen from elsewhere. That's very much not my leaf.
As far as I'm concerned, from where I learned it from, it is. And for that reason, tell me, favorite moment and why.
as weird as it sounds, I enjoyed playing the socially awkward side of Scarlet this evening, much to everyone else's discomfort. My
Love
dice
it.
is rolled under my desk, that's why I keep rolling around. My precious baby dice. Being able to play that different side, but also knowing that, as a player, how much attention Marcus is paying to all these different dynamics, even though Scarlet remains completely unaware. I'm interested to see where the Bard will take things in regards to whether or not he'll start pulling at strings to look at particular interactions or not.
Love that. Okay. Good to know. Benjamin, your favorite moment and why?
Sorry, the bugs going crazy in the background. Actually, I have a couple of favorite moments. Playing first episode of this year. Good to see you, everyone. The entire breakfast session, so the first half of the game, I actually really enjoyed. Specifics. The moment I think maybe myself and Marcus were standing on the veranda, looking at Scarlet and Velendar. Sorry. I'm interested to see what happens from here out.
Love that. Okay, D20.
I think Grummy's amazing death scene and us leveling up was obviously my clear favourite from there. However,
Can't say things that don't exist.
well, why not? It's a fantasy game. I can have my own narrative running throughout it. I was
Yeah.
genuinely fascinated between the kind of three-way dynamic at things. So when you were playing Tybella and seeing how that ran between Velendar and then Scarlet, and then it kind of culminate in Scarlet stepping over what would be the kind of normal social norms for others, but not for her, into that accelerated move was really, back to kind of Tammy's comment, it's really interesting for Marcus to see that go through. But watching that rapid cycle of problem, issue, overstep, and then what Marcus is observing, that kind of readjustment by Scarlet, truly fascinating to see, because it's not something you kind of expect in what was a social setting piece. So, and it could have gone in a number of different directions, and obviously the hug. I mean, that there's a big moment with Soul where we feel that he's going to become the true bard of the party.
Yeah, Jesus. Last but certainly not least, Promethean.
Yeah, Scarlet straight up just garroting a chick.
Yeah.
With the knee in the back. That was amazing. I was not expecting it, so it was super fun. But also from like a character perspective, I don't think Belinda's kind of seen Scarlet like cross that line in that way that quickly. Like I, as a player, and Belinda as the character, had thought, yeah, we've talked that situation down. Nope. And so that was super fun.
Love that.
Well,
Geez.
Soul's the only one that's actually seen Scarlet cage fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It isn't a bad thing. I don't know. I'm going to try and work into my healing thing. My healies.
Heels.
You healy dealies?
Quite.
Yeah.
Emily's talking and telling us what her favourite moment was.
I actually wasn't going to, but thank you.
You are now, though.
Jeez.
I
Oh
need
my
to be
God.
on my face, though. Thank you.
He does. No.
That's cool.
There are a couple. Oh my God. First of all, literally watching all of you just interact. There was a solid 40 minutes where I did not have to speak. I just sat here But my favorite thing about D&D is watching everyone unfold their interactions and their backstories into a way that is just conversation, and me kind of knowing what you've written versus how you're conversing. I find that very interesting. So just I know it's a boring answer, but general conversation between characters tonight, I found very interesting. And also, I loved the little pillow for Grommy. That was very sweet. And just Grommy comfort in general.
I do want a moment to upgrade him from his +1 stick.
What is +1 stick?
Wait, but hang on, upgrading Grommy? You turning Grommy to a cyborg?
Yeah, basically.
I think Grommy's
+2.
the party mascot. Some parties have an animal, and we've got Grommy.
Yeah.
You may think a hive
Yeah.
or something.
So none of this would be a possibility if I didn't have such wonderful players, and for that reason, I'm going to make you guys shout out who you are and what you do when you're not forced to hang out with me here. We're going to go straight back the opposite way. Promethean, who are you? Where can we find you? What do you do?
Hi, I'm Promethean. There's a 0 in it when I'm not being forced to hang out with Emily here. I'm being forced to hang out with Emily elsewhere. You'll find me playing games. You'll find me playing games on my channel. Lots and lots and lots of Baldur's Gate 3 currently. You'll also find us over on the Law Rights, playing more D&D. The campaign that I run. Emily plays the emo goth rogue in, which is always
Texan accent.
absolute delight with a Texan accent of some kind. It's amazing. And you'll also find me over at Meeples and Dragons tomorrow night even for our next Radiant Shadow session, which is super fun. And the Law Rights, we've got a Call of Cthulhu one shot coming up towards the end of this month as well. So do check that out.
Love that for us. Deetwenty, who are you? Where can we find you? What do you do?
That's many questions that thrown in that thing. Well, first off, we're in Demada. Look, I can point to the map thing, which I can disappear from. Bing, I'm part of a map. We're here with you, Emily, on a monthly basis now, Em, which, I believe in you to make this happen. Thank you. Thank you for what was a very fun session to talk to all that was around, and you can't find me anywhere else because it's not that time of year again yet. Hanging out for you all, folks. Back to you, boss.
Hey, Ben, in the other room, in this one to be specific. Who are you? What do you do?
Should I come into your room and do this?
No, stay out of this room.
Creepy.
Don't make it weird.
Oh.
Stop killing the illusion.
Weird in game, weird out of game. Yeah, my name's Ben. I am Blast Powder on Twitch. I am also a part of Fate's Grip, which is my mainstay, or it's Fate's Grip. We're a live D&D play every Tuesday at 6:45. Sometimes later, mostly later because we always have technical difficulties. But we love you and we hope you stay around for that.
Love you too.
No, truly we do. We do love you.
Tammy, who are you? What do you do? Where can we find you?
I'm Tybella79. I don't do stuff on my own channel because I'm slack. I know the question is what am I doing when I'm not forced to do things with you, but I'm never forced to do things with you, so the answer to that would be nothing.
Aww.
Oh,
However,
see that, everyone else? Learn from that.
Scarlet levels up.
Yeah.
But yes, Call of Cthulhu one shot on Law Rights channel end of the month, I will be there because I'm a horror baby at heart.
But
Don't
Love
look at
it.
me like
I
that.
love the horror.
You've
I
been
know.
to my house. You've seen.
Yeah.
You just don't remember seeing all my horror RPGs. Ben,
I remember seeing all of these.
Yeah.
Not going to spend too much time on myself because I am not important. But my name is Emily. I'm an occasional DM over here once a month. Every Tuesday at 6:45 p.m. I play an annoying character called Kalani. You can check her out every Tuesday at 6:45 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time on Tuesdays. If not, you can find me being a Thirstmaster here on the channel for Thirsty Thursdays, or hanging out over on the Lorites channel, where I get to be the emoest girl ever. Thanks for hanging out. We're gonna do a cheeky little raid.